Good morning. My name is May Burrell. I was asked to address racial awareness. I was also asked to address discrimination and prejudice on racial awareness in high schools in this report. Discrimination and prejudice has taken place in some high schools in the form of minority groups and diverse groups not being hired or welcomed. For example, not hiring African Americans or Latino teachers and administrative leaders is discrimination. In some instances, when minority groups are hired, they're hired at a lower rate of pay and in a lower job position, which are not leadership positions. I find that this is an issue throughout the Department of Education in the state of Louisiana. According to the Department of Education, 74%, approximately 47,000 public school teachers are white. Only 22% are black. In the state of Louisiana, 43% of students are black and 44% are white. Some schools have implemented policies on dress codes. This dress code has signaled out some students by making them feel unwelcome and inadequate because of their hairstyles, religious beliefs, and cultural practice. This is discrimination. Students need to have administrative leaders, teachers, and staff members they could identify with and relate to. Discrimination and prejudice at high schools are hindering some good candidates from minority groups from applying for teaching jobs and more professional positions. The rate of pay and the testing requirements stop most from applying. Prejudice also occur in schools when the teachers and administration do not respect or allow the student the right to express their belief. Not allowing students to express their feelings and in a positive voice on the issues that affects them tells them that we do not care as leaders. We must remember we are here to guide our students and teach them, not hinder them. For example, excluding a student from activities or social groups due to religious belief, race, gender, sexual orientation, by judging others based on stereotypes and bullying students due to academic performance or belief may stop some students and hinder their ability to learn. Just recently, we have seen in the media where a group of students from Wisconsin High School were making a Nazi salute in their picture. This is just one more example of what should not take place in a school. Prejudice and discrimination has no place in high schools, in any high school. Some changes we can do are to implement cultural change by hiring more diverse groups of teachers and administrative staffs in the school system. More group talks between the students, the parents, and the teachers. Moreover, implementing more lessons on diversity builds trust and understanding between the school, the student, and the system. Teaching the students that they are valued and their race and sex and religious beliefs are not an issue is important. We should allow the students to have a voice by listening to their points of view when it comes to their feelings and the treatments by teachers and administrative staff. There needs to be a more history lessons on discrimination and prejudice throughout the school year and not only in the month of February, Black History Month. The more students study history, the less likely they will discriminate against other racial groups. Feedback is a must when it comes to prejudice and discrimination because there needs to be transparency in the school system when it comes to these issues. I would like to implement an open door policy where students can come in at any time and report any indifference they may have. Transparency in the school with the students and parents and teachers and administrative is a factor. A key to stop the war on discrimination and prejudice acts. However, teachers will maintain control over their classrooms. When more minority teachers are hired, it shows diversity is welcome. Teaching a student culture difference brings change and awareness and of acceptance of each other and the respect of their peers. The risk in this area of learning difference in cultures is that some students may not understand or like the history of some cultures. However, it will stimulate learning about themselves and their classmates. This is one way to control and confront racial tension. By asking students to talk over their problem and not point the finger of blame at each other, but understand what racism is and how not to take part in it is important. This form of discrimination and discipline may stop the practice of prejudice and discrimination. I believe that it's important to have a policy to address the problem and how to care for those who were affected by racism, to ensure the person that he or she is not to blame for the actions of someone else and they have the right to be treated fairly. There needs to be a policy that states zero tolerance against discrimination and prejudice acts towards staff members and students. Information will be placed in a handbook on zero tolerance and given to each student at the beginning of the school year. The policy on zero tolerance against discrimination, actions, and prejudice acts must be signed by the student and their parent upon admission to school. All employees have to read and sign the policy on discrimination and prejudice as well. This policy may read, any employee, student found in any matter of racism, discrimination, prejudice, for example, discriminatory jokes and bullying toward others because of race, religion, sex, or any diverse manner of discrimination may have one of the following actions implemented against them. Students may face suspension or expulsion from schools. Any employee found in an act of any matter of discrimination or prejudice will have the following action, but not limited to suspension of employment or including firing. This policy will be publicized and ruled in the student and employee handbooks titled Zero Tolerance Against Discrimination and Prejudice Guide. I would like to have flyers placed throughout the school as well as in the office area for visitors, so they will have a clear understanding where we stand at on prejudice and discrimination and racism. One more plan of action I would like to implement is to have a community outreach program which will help to connect the school to its community. I hope this report will be helpful to you and your school. And here are one of the flyers that I would like to implement. One of the flyers that says, "Stop racism, stand up and speak out against discrimination and prejudice. We care about you. Our door is open. We are one in this school body. Tell someone." And it has the school's information and telephone number and a hotline number. The person can remain anonymous if they choose to. And the zero tolerance is already here. And this is one for zero tolerance for employment and the manager to sign. And I've also have a policy that's already assigned for the student to sign. It has the student, the parent, and the teacher that needs to be signed at the beginning of the year. I hope this information will be helpful to you in your decision on how to implement a plan on the war on racial awareness and discrimination in your school. Thank you very much. This is May Burrell. Thank you.